What do I call you? Mod son? What do you like to be called?
Yeah, Mod, M-O-D, man. That's like, I was really good at giving everyone nicknames my whole life, so I gave myself one. I did not love the name that I was born with. I'm like growing into it a little bit now, but I love Mod.
Okay, Mod, thank you for taking the time. Aside from doing media today, how's your day going?
Dude, it just started. I just got up 20 minutes ago, man.
Are you
But
nocturnal like I am?
yeah, bro, I cannot sleep at night. I really like, I'll hit like a stride where I'm able to get up in the morning and get all that stuff done before noon. And then with getting this album out, getting ready for tour, and oh my God, man, it's been crazy. So I'm a total insomniac.
I hear you. Feeding into that with God Save the Teen and all that, do you always record at night or are you functional in the daytime in sessions?
Oh, that's so crazy. I love this question. So up until my last album, Internet Killed the Rockstar, I recorded all my music from the hours of like midnight and 5 a.m. All of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then started working with my producer, John Feldman.
Oh, yes.
Who notoriously wakes up at 4 a.m. Okay. This guy wakes up at 4 a.m. and goes to sleep early.
Yeah.
And he is an avid daytime record session guy. Okay. Yeah. And he's been my dream producer since I was in like 9th grade, for real. When
I get it. Goldfinger is fantastic, but the hits he's had beyond Goldfinger, he's like the Desmond Child of punk rock at this point.
Dude, 100%. And like the Used album, like that changed my life. So anything to work with him was what I was gonna do. And I think it captures a different energy, definitely, recording during the day, you know? And it's worked out great. So am I absolutely functional the second I get there? No, but I get excited to start making music.
So does that mean you have an energy drink endorsement in the works to make that better and happen?
Dude, have you heard of C4, the energy drink C4?
I've had it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. Does it give you the tingle in the left arm, the C4?
Yes. Dude, yes. Yes. Oh my God, bro. It feels like it's a drug, dude, for real.
Well, it's such a pleasure to be speaking with you because I admire how hard you are to classify. Like, in terms of the collaborators, every genre possible. Charlotte has nothing to do with Travis Barker, has nothing to do with Avril, etc. They're all over the place. The genres, I can't classify you. I can't classify you by job title. You are Mod son, and by that I mean, like, are you a singer, a rapper, a producer, a songwriter, a fashion guy? I don't know what you are. How do you like to be thought of or call yourself?
Well, just that, dude. Here's something awesome that I've stuck to. I've stuck to for a long time, and it really made sense recently. So, know the quote, "A jack of all trades is a master of none."
Yeah.
Okay. That is a paraphrase of the actual full quote. Are you aware of this?
I never heard that before. What's the full quote?
The full quote. It's a William Shakespeare quote. The full quote is, "A jack of all trades is a master of none, but a master of none is often better than a master of one."
Oh, really?
That is the full quote. I don't know who decided to chop it in half and make people feel bad for wanting to do a lot of things in this life. Okay. Yeah. And I've always had this desire to, I mean, I looked at it I do a lot of things artistically thinking as if I'm already dead and gone. That's how I've operated my whole life, because in a lot of ways I've had amazing supporters for a lot of my career, but I've never been the biggest artist in the world. So a lot of it is a self-motivating kind of thing. And I have fueled myself for the last 15 years on thinking that when I die, I want it to be artist author, painter, director, all these things, musician, producer. I want it to be a list of things and leave as much behind as I can. So when it comes to classifying me as anything, I think it really just goes into like, I mean, it's just the one word does it for me. It's just artist. And, you know, we use artists for pretty much anything that has to do with creating something out of nothing, right?
So when you started out in music, people first knew you as a drummer. Did you have all these aspirations to do all these things, or is it once you started seeing the world, you then decided that you're more than just a drummer?
Oh no, I've always wanted to do as much as I can. I mean, I've always said since I was young I was gonna direct a movie, write a movie. I've always said since I was young I was gonna write books, and been fascinated with typewriters and the idea of, you know, it's always been a romanticized thing to me, the writer locked away by himself, banging at a typewriter, putting down pages full of words that no one may never read, you know?
Yeah. So you create no matter whether people are paying attention or not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And once I've started to hit a stride where more people pay attention, I try to essentially ignore that and stay as close to the center of what I just said, which is creating like no one's ever going to hear it, read it, watch it, any of that.
So your new album, half of it pretty much has come out as singles before it's out. How long has it actually been done for?
No. On the contrary, none of the songs on the album came out as singles.
So those are, so I apologize for that mistake right there. So non-album singles that were actually non-album singles.
Yes. So I released 4 songs last year that in my mind was the typical rollout for an album in these times. I got down to about 3 weeks before I had to turn this album in, maybe about 2 weeks, honestly. And I was listening to the album, and as an avid music fan, I am a fan of music. I listen to New Music Friday every Thursday at 9 p.m. I listen to everyone's album that comes out. It felt like the event of an album had been lost in space a little bit. And that all of a sudden, when you hit play and you've heard 4 of the songs on the album, it loses, it's like removing bones from the body. And all of a sudden, I feel like this event, like I've always held on to since I was a kid. I'm a kid that skipped school to go to Best Buy on Tuesdays, or the local record store on Tuesdays, whoever's album was buying, and remember it feeling like this true event. And I wanted to give that back to the people that listen to me and present them with an album that had 0 singles on it. Now, when I say singles, I don't mean songs that are big and could live as singles. I just simply mean any songs that were released by themselves. So now hit play on this, it all the songs live together as one, and they tell a bigger story.
So a concept album without being in a progressive rock genre themed album.
Yeah, it's not Pink Floyd, you know what I'm saying? We did like, it's not it's not an over your head kind of concept album, but it is 100% telling a story from start to finish, and that means something to me. And I mean, I've done this for a long time, and if I can still continue to find ways to take risks, or find ways to, at the lack of sounding self-righteous or something, do what I don't see anyone else doing, that's what excites me in this. And it's like, excuse me, it's like my last album, I found the most success that I've had up to this point in a very fortunately lengthy career. And I feel no need to be, why I've been able to evolve as an artist, and like you said, are you a rapper, are you this, are you that, is because I'm not competing with myself each album and project. I'm really trying to create something that, like I said, whether it's beloved right now or in a few years, I know that it's going to be most important after I'm dead and gone, you know?
So I'd have to imagine that some of that has to do with the company that you keep. You mentioned before John Feldman, Travis is a collaborator, Mr. Gun Kelly, that's what I'll call him instead of MGK. These are all people that transcend genres and labels. And they say that you are the product of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. I have to imagine, I'm projecting a little bit, that you're watching the people around you going, well, they don't have to fit in this box or these parameters. Why do I?
I agree with the quote, but I separate that from art though completely. Like I actually that's never entered my ethos to be like, these people don't have to do it this way. I look at Bob Dylan, man. That's what I look at. That I don't look at any of my peers as them, as someone that I'm trying to follow their footsteps. Truly, to be totally honest, I look at Bob Dylan. I look at someone who's in his 80s who got booed off stage for the first year that he played Like a Rolling Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Regarded as one of the greatest songs of all time now. I look at someone who was being praised as the voice of a generation with an acoustic guitar, and then decided to plug in and play electric and was ridiculed. Yeah. And then once he was praised for that, he went and made a country album, got ridiculed. Once he got praised for that, he went and made a gospel album.
Right.
Then he went on to make piano standards. That's who I look at. I don't need a handful of artists for me to think about. I literally go to Bob Dylan and I look at someone who has simply decided to, and in the most non-confrontational or negative way, be ahead of the audience.
Well said. Well, 2 more questions for you, and then I'm going to let you roam free.
No problem.
The first one is, it sounds like creating is the easy part for you, and that you create faster than the stuff comes out. So are you the kind of artist where you're already 3 steps ahead, where you're already like, well, that's my album in 2024? Because that's the vibe I kind of get.
Well, I mean, in a lot of ways, yeah. I walk into the studio that day with a song, you know. Yeah. That is my goal every day. So what that does is it creates a lot of songs to choose from. I have really held on to the idea that every great artist recreates themselves every 10 years. First 10 years of my music career, I was playing drums. Second 10 years, I was rapping. This 10 years, I've been singing and in like alt leaning, pop punk leaning,
right,
melodic landscape songs. I know what my next 10 years is going to be, and I am ready to start working on that. But I'm really focused on this album right now, hyper focused more than anything, because like I'm about to go on the biggest tour that I've ever been on, you know, right. the biggest headline tour that I've ever done, the biggest rooms. I've played live shows since I was 15 years old. I've played in a lot of those 500 cap venues for 15 years, man. And to get the graduation up to the bigger venues at this point in my career, like I'm super focused on creating the best show possible for that. So I'm pretty stuck in this moment right now.
the last question I have for you, you mentioned the Used being a very instrumental band and you, yet also Bob Dylan being instrumental. What was your first concert that you went to as a fan and not, dragged along by people?
Warped Tour 2001.
Was that the Weezer year, the Green Day year?
So it was either 2000 or 2001, but it was the year of Blink-182 with the giant fuck sign on fire. It was that year, and it was like Newfound Glory, Alkaline Trio, Alien Ant Farm. Yeah, I mean, dude, I stood at the front, and they were all on the main stage. I stood at the barricade the entire day, watched every single one of them, and left that day being like, I'm gonna do that or die trying.
So thank you, Kevin Lyman, for changing the world.
Oh my God, my life. Kevin Lyman, before we go, I got a great Kevin Lyman story.
Sure.
Just to show how amazing he is. So at the very early start of my career, very start of Mod Sun as a career. So this was, I think, 2009, maybe 2010. No, I think it was 2009. I had took a meeting with a booking agent in New York City, and I walked into his office, and I sat down. And he said, "Do you want some water?" And I was like, "Of course, yeah, sure." So he gets up and walks out. This was the days where you still had a Rolodex, okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
On his desk. As soon as he walks out, I flip through it. I find Kevin Lyman's number and email. I write it down and leave this meeting, and I send Kevin Lyman an email, cold email, just explaining my story. The first show that I ever saw was this. I played drums in a band called Four Letter Lies, Scary Kids Scaring Kids, been part of the scene forever.
Yeah.
Can you give me a shot? Just like the biggest wide-eyed dreamer type of thing to do. And Kevin Lyman emails me back, and he puts me on the entire Warped Tour that upcoming summer.
And that, had that not happened, who knows if you'd be here right now. So,
Absolutely, who knows, man? You change one thing in your history, and who knows where you'd end up.
that is inspirational. Well, thank you for your time. Looking forward to the Irving Plaza show and continued success. Looking forward to that eventual movie as well.
Yes, well, I have a movie out, actually, just to add in. We released a movie last year. Me and Machine Gun Kelly wrote and directed a movie starring Pete Davidson, Megan Fox, Dove Cameron, Whitney Cummings. It's crazy, bro. It's called
What's the name of that movie?
Good Mourning. Mourning spelled with a U.
Like the Alkaline Trio album and all that. Okay, that is going on the rental queue. Thank you, Mod Son. Have a wonderful rest of the day, man. Take care.
Yep. In New York, man.
Paltrocast.